The applause felt like a foreign sound. I walked across the stage alone. There was no fanfare, no cheers from the family, no proud faces in the crowd. Just me, the degree I'd fought for, the emptiness of it all. Outside, the sun shone too brightly, like it knew how fake everything felt. I could hear the muffled sounds of people laughing and celebrating in the distance. Not for me. For the Super Bowl, I guess that was more important. I found myself in the parking lot, the tears coming faster than I could stop them. Silent, but burning. The last time I cried, I was 8. I cried because my mom told me to stop. "You're not a baby anymore," she said, as if that had been the problem all along. I had expected them to be there. I had expected a celebration, a good job, or "we're proud of you." Instead, they were sipping beer and cheering for some guy in a uniform while I stood in the shadows, invisible. That's what I was to them, invisible, a ghost in my own home, the child who could never live up to their expectations. I spent the rest of the day alone, letting the anger build. The feeling of betrayal settled in deeper than I ever thought possible. Years of being overlooked, undermined, and abandoned. All of it rushed back. The years of them telling me I wasn't enough. "Focus on what really matters," my father used to say. "Grades won't pay the bills." They never saw what I could become, what I was becoming. I could have stayed home. I could have drowned in the anger, in the tears, in the pity. But I didn't. I walked to the nearest travel office. One-way ticket. A simple decision. One that would change everything. I never looked back. For the first time in my life, I was on my own, with no one to tell me how to live, no one to dismiss me. I wasn't their failure anymore. I was mine, and that was the best thing I could be. For months, I kept my head down. No phone calls, no texts. I buried myself in work. Hard work, the kind that burns you out but makes you forget everything else. I knew there was no room for distraction, no room for failure. While they threw their parties, I worked. I learned new skills, picked up languages, took small jobs. Every penny I earned, every skill mastered, was one step further from their world and closer to my own. I wasn't going to prove anything to them. I was proving it to myself. They never reached out. Not once. I didn't expect them to. They never had. But the silence, it started to sting. I couldn't help but wonder, what did they think of me now? Then, one day, the call came. My mom wanted to know if I was coming back for the family reunion. I didn't think much about it. It had been years since I'd seen them, years since they'd cared about me. But I was different now. I had a name for myself. I wasn't that kid anymore. I agreed. Not for them, but because I knew what I had to do. The day I walked into that reunion, it was like time hadn't passed at all. They were sitting there in their perfect little world, acting as if nothing had changed. My father, still with that smug look, like I was nothing more than a disappointment to him. My mother, smiling that same fake smile she wore every time she pretended to care. They didn't notice me at first. How could they? I had changed. No more awkward teenager. No more invisible son. I had become someone. Someone they couldn't ignore. My father's eyes flickered for a second, then returned to his drink. "You've changed," he said, finally, but it wasn't a compliment. It was an accusation. "You still playing at the artist thing?" "Hardly," I said, keeping my voice steady. "It's business now, real business." They didn't know. They couldn't know. The company I had quietly built in those silent years, the investments I'd made, the deals I'd pulled off, all the things they thought I couldn't do, all the things they mocked, I had done. And now, here I was, standing in front of them with everything they could never have imagined. They didn't know what hit them. I walked over to the table, placed a folder down, and opened it. A business proposal, one they'd never seen before. The company that would soon surpass my father's. The company that would destroy everything they had built and leave them in the dust. I saw the realization in their eyes. They hadn't thought I had it in me. They didn't believe in me. Now they had no choice but to face it. "I guess I don't need to tell you how this works," I said, calm but piercing. "But your business, it's in danger. You should probably do something about it. Soon." Their silence was more than just defeat. It was humiliation. They couldn't even speak. There was no denial, no defense. Just the quiet acceptance of what they had always known deep down. They had underestimated me. They had ruined me for years. And now I was untouchable. I left them sitting there, in stunned silence, with their eyes glued to the proposal I had left behind. I didn't need to say anything more. The truth had walked into that room, calm and sharp. And in the end, I wasn't the one who had to fight. The fight had already been won. As I walked out, I didn't look back. Not at them, not at the life I'd left behind. I wasn't going back. I had made my choice long ago, and now I was free.